So this is absolutely what you do not want to have happen when you're on propane. But you know, when I left the newbie rally, I looked at the salsa container in there and I was like, well, you know, I think it would be okay if we kept the little refrigerator tension bar in there. But this is what happens when you let things tip and leak.
What a mess.
Yes, so you know what?
That looks like a crime scene. Okay, welcome to this episode of Luv Subbin, and we're here at Saba Estate Vineyards.
And this is a harvest host.
Yes, it is a nice harvest host because it's just off of I-90, 10 miles or so, as you're heading west towards just after the Massachusetts-New York border.
It's a good stopover on your way to Pennsylvania if you want to go that direction.
If you're heading off, we're heading off to I-81 as we head down south. We just completed our newbie rally, which was a lot of fun. We hope you enjoyed watching Cindy back up last week.
Yeah, that was very interesting and a very new experience for me.
But we're beginning our big summer trip. And we just cannot wait. We're looking forward to it.
We're super excited. We're going to take a little side detour south and a little bit east to DC, but from there we are headed west.
It is Wyoming or bust.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's check it out as we head down south. And what's super cool about our site is that for our harvest host, it is super level there, pretty level there. That's always good when you can get a completely level harvest host site.
We left our harvest host and continued our trip to Locust Lake State Park.
We were there to tour the Yuengling Brewery, which will be next week's video, but we also had some fun in downtown Pottsville. All right, see, how are these steps to the monument?
Like they need a rail that is missing.
A little dicey. So C is doing, this is kind of an urban hike for us. This is the technical part.
That is awesome.
So today we uploaded the Cindy backing in the RV for the first time video, and we used our Starlink for the first time to upload a video ever.
Albeit not very picturesque.
Yeah, you can see here how it was kind of a little cattywampus as far as the hookup, because Starlink you can't have any trees, and so our campsite is 100% tree covered, so we kind of had to do it this way. But after all that, we said, you know what, we need a beer.
Right.
And so we headed off to the Black Rock Brewing Company here in Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
And we suspect the Black Rock was in reference to coal.
Because this is a coal country, and you can see a classic coal town.
It is also iron country as well.
And as we kind of started researching, we found out that after all of that, there's this cool monument of Henry Clay.
And that might be unusual because Kentucky...
Yeah, he was from Kentucky.
Yeah, he was a Kentucky U.S. Senator.
So why did he have a monument here?
Because he actually, during his term as senator, supported foreign tariffs against iron, which actually helped the iron industry here.
Was it iron or coal?
No, it was iron.
Really? Okay.
And that's why the statue is made of iron.
100% made of iron. It's 50 feet tall, right?
And it was cast here in Pottsville.
Wow. And it's quite beautiful. We'll take a kind of see it here as it stands up from the town in the valley, which is the view here. But Henry Clay was super famous because he ran against for president against 3 different people, right?
Jackson, Polk, and John Quincy Adams, and he lost all 3 times. So
yeah, I remember him from our studies. So that's what we're saying. No matter where you go, you can find cool stuff here in America, like a statue to Henry Clay in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. You know, for a monument to a great senator, they really don't have good access point here.
No, it's very narrow roads, and we had to actually find the statue on Google Maps on the internet. It wasn't showing up on the regular Google Maps app, so not sure they want you to find it. Ooh, they're squippy.
We're back here at Locust Lake State Park in Pennsylvania, and I want to talk about two things. First, a tip, and second, it's like kind of sort of a correction. So as you can see, we are way sloping down as we were the last time at Locust Lake, and that meant the nose going down very low. So here's a technique when you need a few extra inches when your nose is super low. We all talk about leveling side to side. Well, you can use your leveling blocks
To level.
block both front tires, or
To level
if you have
front
a
and back.
single axle, just the one tire.
As you can see, we have one block under both front tires.
Yeah, so what that does is it raises things up, gives you a little bit extra room. Sometimes you don't think about raising the two front tires to gain some extra room.
But if you know you're on a very slopey site, that might be a consideration.
Yep. And the other thing, when going onto a slopey site, the last time we were at Locust Lake, I made the statement that, yeah, I chalk my wheels, I put my X-Chalk down, I do all the things that I need to do to make sure the trailer doesn't roll back. But when unhitching, I always have a hand on the emergency breakaway switch, and were it ever to start rolling back, I'd tug this. And a very concerned viewer said, hey Rich, you're not right. The Dexter axle brakes don't work when moving backwards. So I have a contact at Dexter Axle, and I gave him a email, and he responded back that day, I think, and said, we're kind of both right. So when you pull this breakaway switch and the trailer is moving backwards, the Dexter Axle braking system only is effective to about 20-25% of its normal braking action. So you're not going to lock the wheels like
immediately
you would if you pull this forward. So it's going to take a lot longer and slower. It'll probably slow the trailer and stop it, but it's not going to be that instantaneous lock that I thought you were going to get. So thanks to that viewer for bringing it up, and I hope we've all learned something from that. Oh man, this is the kind of thing that you hate, that you don't get in the brochures when you pull up to the dump station and someone had an emergency bad discharges, dried toilet paper everywhere. Ugh. We're continuing the start of our summer trip as we head down south, and we are at Glen Mori City Park. And this is another park just off of I-81. Actually, it's almost on the other side of I-81 from that KOA that we stayed at when we were last in Lexington, that you can see up in this video here for a review. And it's just a different option. This one here takes no reservations, which is often a good time, you know, when things are booked up and stuff like that, if you can find it. And it was funny because on Campendium they had 2 reviews, and note that Campendium is what we go to for campground reviews. They had 2 reviews. One gave it all 5 stars, and the other one gave it all 1 stars. So it averaged to a 3, but those 1 stars were like 5 years ago, from 2018. And it seems like they've tried to improve things a little bit here. We stayed hitched up, but we did have to raise the nose. So as you can see from a prior video that we did, we were at the Love's gas station. Whenever I do come off the ball, I'll keep my dust cover on because I do lubricate the ball, and I don't want any dirt and dust getting on if I've just raised it up. This way I don't need Cindy to come hitch me up. I can just lower the ball down. It's a nice long sight.
Little narrow.
A little narrow, so you can see here.
But here's the thing, is I think she took a look at our rig to see if it was going to fit some of these, because I think some of them are short, right?
Yeah, some of them are pretty short. And the thing is too, they have an upper campground and a lower campground, and it's a really big campground. But the lower, they said, are being upgraded, the electrical, and the contractor is way behind. They were supposed to be done in February, and now they're not going to be done in July. So, and
it was a wide open field. They had 30 amp and 50 amp.
Right.
And so
we're kind of tucked in the upper campground here.
We are.
You can see the services. Hey, it's 38 bucks and change a night, and we're not boosting. The water was at 44 parts per million dissolved solid,
which is pretty spectacular, right?
Yeah, we have sewer as well.
Right.
You can see though that this is relatively new. Look at the little post where the camp thing is. So they're doing a lot of upgrades, which kind of sucks when you think about a review. You know, if you were just going to that one review that said, well, it's all 1 stars, and that was 5 years ago from 2018. You know, I think they've done a lot of upgrades here and making things
I think once they open up the lower campground here, it's going to be a very good option for people traveling either north or south.
Yep.
From the Glen Mori Park, we traveled to North Carolina to be near Salisbury.
We were there for the Cheerwine Festival, which is something we'd been wanting to go to ever since we first discovered Cheerwine. Yeah, so I was looking for something to drink, And I thought of an RC Cola because that kind of gets some Southern vibe to it, but then I saw this Cheerwine and I asked the gentleman what it was, and he said it was started in 1917, making it one of the oldest colas around, and it's from Salisbury, North Carolina, and it's a cherry fizzy soda. So let's go ahead and try it. Oh, that's really good. It's really good because, you know, it looks red, so you think you're going to get this cherry bomb, and you don't. It's a good cola with just a little bit of a kind of cherry side flavor. So I think this is delicious, and it's going to hit the spot. And it's been made since 1917.
Nice.
So what is this line?
We are doing one of the shuttle locations, and we're waiting for the bus, and we got here at 12 noon, which is when it starts, and the line begins way down there, and you could see it just strings along all the way to there. So we're gonna go get in line.
I think we better go get in line.
So what do you have?
So I got my first Cheerwine ale from No Da Brewing, and we'll go ahead and have a sip here. Ah, it's good. It's a wheat beer, but it definitely has that cherry flavor. So it's more, as opposed to some of the beers like the North Atlantic Blueberry, which is very subtle. This kind of hits you with that cherry. I tell you what, I am totally overwhelmed at this festival. Normally the festivals we go to have a few people, you know, with some booths.
Yep.
And we're usually underwhelmed. We're totally overwhelmed with this one. It is
The
just
lines for food and for drink and everything is just crazy.
yeah, an hour and 45 minutes on the shuttle to get here, and I probably waited 20 minutes for the beer,
Yep.
and food is just crazy.
Yep, it's just nuts. Maybe they'll calm down a little bit.
I think we're starting to get hangry, aren't we?
Yes, everything that has real food is got at least a half an hour line, and after having stood in line for 90 minutes at the bus, I'm not sure we want to be waiting for that. So we're going to see what happens. Should be interesting.
Okay, we're back on the bus.
Yep, we're beat down.
That beat us down. I expected to be, yeah, that was unmanageable.
Yes, too many people, too many
people.
lines. And after an hour and 45 minutes waiting for the bus to get here, it was a little overwhelming.
I think they need to make that part of the festival about the size of Rhode Island to make it walkable. Because that was just not doable. So we're back on the bus, we'll figure something out.
Yep, it'll be good.
All right, well there you have it, our trip from Sandwich, New Hampshire down to Salisbury, North Carolina.
It was 6 nights, and we had 2 nights hitched up, but we had a fun time in Pottsville on the way down.
Yeah, it's just finding cool places that you wouldn't think of that were kind of neat.
Right, absolutely. And we thoroughly enjoyed the Saba Vineyards Harvest Toast.
So if you like this video,
Give us a big thumbs up.
if you think we've earned a subscription, click the subscribe.
And comment below if you have a favorite harvest toast that you would like to share.
Because we come out with RV and Airstream related videos just like this one every Tuesday.
Thanks for watching.